What's going on, guys? All Blitzel here, and today I am back with Goodra VSTAR. Goodra VSTAR is not a deck that overpowers you. It wins games by being tanky and healing, and also having annoying cards like Temple of Sinnoh, Big Parasol, and Roxanne. The rolling iron attack doing only 200 damage is not going to be one-shotting anything, but just we have so much sustainability with that rolling iron, and we also can combine it with Cramorant, two-shot things. We do struggle with Mew, so we have to play the Drapion V, of course. This is the same 60 that Kobe Kawasaki got second place with at the Vancouver Regional Championships. And it had been a while since I played any Goodra on the channel, so I wanted to at least play it one more time before rotation. I do really like Choice Belt in this deck over Galarian Zigzagoon because you can one-shot Evolving Vs a little bit better, and you don't have to depend on Scoop Up Net to really reach those bigger numbers. Temple of Sinnoh is a very key card in this deck. It's great against Vikavolt and Lugia, and Goodra's not necessarily my favorite deck ever to play. It's a pretty cool deck, but it's not really, I guess once it's really my play style. I've never really cared for it too much. I don't think it's a bad pick. I just think that it takes pretty much 50-50s across the board. Doesn't really have too many very good matchups, but it doesn't really have any too many bad matchups either. So I think it's a pretty solid pick for this meta. So after this, it will have quite a few battles. So if you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing and liking to my channel. We're only 5 subscribers away as we're recording from reaching 300. So if you please do me a favor, get me to 300, I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you guys, and enjoy the battles. Alright, we're getting to our first game. We get a hello from my opponents. I do not know who this is, but maybe they recognize me. So we will open with the Comfey. This hand definitely leaves something to be desired, because we have Goodra and Capture Energy, but no Colress. So we're against some sort of Lost in Box matchup. I will Capture Energy for a Radiant Greninja. Use that concealed cards. Start getting into the deck. Hopefully getting close to a Colress. There we go. And then we flower selecting. Tough choice early on, but I think we'll choose Quick Ball over Mirage Gate. I'll Quick Ball out the Temple of Sinnoh. Find another Comfey and keep digging. Always is unfortunate to draw Mirage Gates early when we really need to prioritize consistency cards. So I'll take the switch over the Quick Ball, and I'll switch back into another Comfey. And then we will flower selecting. This is a tough choice because I think we're going to take the Goodra. I don't feel great about it. I probably should not have benched that. Just suggesting a Traptor stuck later on. And I'm lucky that my opponent's playing any sort of hand disruption, so I don't think that was a very smart play. It was just very pretty much no measurable reward for the risk. So as I battle on Drapion getting lost on, so still don't know for certain what my opponent's rocking. It's a battle VIP pass. It's either gonna be Goodra or like a Zamazenta Lost in Box deck. Goodra's not usually play battle VIP pass, but it still appears that my opponent is playing Goodra. I think that the capture energies are still pretty good in this deck. I don't necessarily think you need battle VIP passes. The capture are just going to be more reliable throughout the whole entire game. So there's a concealed cards from my opponent. If they can get into a spit, that'd be a pretty solid first turn for them. So there's another flower selecting. So that's up to 3 cards into the Lost Zone. Taking them a little bit here. Come on, opponents. So they finally grabbed me with that flower selecting. They lost in a battle of VIP pass, switching to the Comfey. So they're probably gonna knock out my Comfey this turn. They lost in Scoop Up Nets. There's another Comfey. So they're really digging here. Maybe they're trying to go for a Radiant Greninja play and KO both of my Comfeys. That'd be really bad. Lost in Temple of Sinnoh. Bench another Comfey. So more and more flower selectings. That's going to be a 6, so that's pretty much going to be the last of their flower selectings, though, because they don't have any Comfeys available on the bench that they can flower select with. So there's a Pokegear into the Lost Zone, which is a card we don't usually see Goodra play, but so it looks like my opponent's going to fall short of using Greninja this turn, but still can use Comfey, or can still use Cramorant. We play a Scoop Up Net, go back into the Greninja, then we see a Rope, so maybe not. They just need one more switch card and a Mirage Gate. Plus, they need 2 gates that already attached a Capture. So there's another Temple of Sinnoh Lost Zone, and yeah, that was it for my opponent. So I'm going to Colress Experiments. Switch, Mirage Gate, and Boss are all good cards. Unfortunately, we have to Lost Zone a Goodra, but it is what it is. Temple of Sinnoh is not a very meaningful card, so I am more than okay with Lost Zoning it. So we'll be able to Mirage Gate this turn. Tough choice. I think we're going to take the Escape Rope. I would love to be able to use my Greninja this turn to use a Mirage Shuriken to take 2 prizes, but I don't have the cards necessary to pull it off, so let's be going for a Rolling Shell and take the knockout. I'm going to try to still dig and find a Goodra VSTAR. Unfortunately, not quite there, so we're just going to switch back and then rolling. Oh, why did I Rolling Shell? I do not know why I did that, because I'm like not, I guess I just didn't want to take the punch. I don't know, I feel like I probably should have Rolling Iron there, like there wasn't really any pressure that I get knocked out back. Huh, yeah, I don't agree with the way I played that, looking back. But, this is okay, I guess. Yeah, I think Rolling Iron was the call there, just to take the prize. Very little risk, I get knocked out back. I would take a big hit, but I don't think, maybe not taking the hit is correct. I don't really know. I think using the Rolling Iron, though, is probably the correct way to go about things. So my opponent has a Goodra VSTAR. This is a very long and grindy matchup. So my opponent will capture for a Cramorant. They spent a ton of switching cards, so I might be able to trap a Comfey later on in the game, depending on how things play out. Temple of Sinnoh does not bother us much, and our Comfey will be going down this turn. So I definitely think I probably should have used that Rolling Iron, or Rolling Shell, whatever that attack is called. We will Raihan and attach the metal. I'll grab a Goodra VSTAR. I'll attach another metal to my Goodra V on the bench. I test the Parasol to the active because I didn't want to redraw it off any hand disruption. I probably should have put it on a Comfey or a Greninja, because I do have Choice Belt as a card that I could gust and KO a Goodra V with. So not playing this game the best, but so my opponent promotes a Goodra VSTAR. They did not play any Mirage Gates yet, though, even though they have sufficient cards in the Lost Zone to do so. So I'm wondering what the holdup with that is. There's another concealed cards, because they have plenty of cards in the Lost Zone. They are down a few energies, so they might need an Ordinary Rod to Mirage Gate. So there's a Pokegear. Now another Colress. My opponent's deck size is quite low now. This game could definitely come down to deck out. This game is not going to be resolved for several turns. There's a Comfey and a Balbi. A P-Pass getting Lost Zoned. Netting up the Greninja, interestingly enough. So I'm definitely wondering if they're lacking an Ordinary Rod. That's why they can't Mirage Gates. So they're going out of 4 cards left in deck with another concealed cards. There's a Mirage Gates, but so they have 4 cards left in deck. No energies found. So I'm very curious to what's going on my opponent's side of the board. Like, I don't know if they just weren't paying attention or what, because like their sequencing does not making a whole lot of sense. So I don't know what my opponent's really up to now. Like, are they gonna be able to attack me? Will they have like Rod plus Gates? Well, they're just gonna rope, so that's kind of like they're kind of waving the white flag with that. So I don't really know what's going on. Yeah, just a pass. So I'm going to attach the water to this Goodra V. I kind of want to hold it out for a Radiant Greninja maybe, but my last metal is prized, so I'll just use this Mirage Gate just as a retreat option. Attach the water to the Goodra V, retreat, and then a Rolling Iron for the knockout. I could have gust and punched that Goodra VSTAR. I just wanted to take the prize there. We just got an erased by a Moisture Star anyway, so maybe it was the right call to go with the boss sorters there. I'm kind of holding out for maybe trying to stall something later on, or even if they drop a Goodra V that I could punch into and get more value out of. Definitely probably should have gusted the Goodra VSTAR, though. Looking back, I don't think I did not play this game super great myself. But there's an Ordinary Rod finally, so very weird why my opponent did not do it last turn. There's a Goodra V, Mirage Gates. So loading both Goodras. But my opponent only has 3 cards left in deck, and this game is going to take more than 3 turns to finish. There's a Rolling Iron for 120. So saving the boss orders looks smart. So then Moisture Star just in case of a Choice Belt. I don't want my Goodra to go down. And I'll gust up that Goodra V and then punch it for 200. My opponent's already spent 6 switch out, so it might be very tough for them to move this. So we might be able to take 2 free prizes here and then use Greninja for my final two prizes. Like, that's sort of the prize map I'm hoping for. Because, yes, they could evolve and Moisture Star this thing, but then they still might not be attacking. It's still a very awkward Pokemon to move, and they just decide to pass. So I'm just going to Rolling Iron for the knockout, and I'm just a Greninja play away from taking this knockout. Water Energy off the prizes is quite amazing. So I just need to find a Mirage Gate, and then we are there. So there's a Choice Belt that we were afraid of, so definitely glad I used that Moisture Star a couple turns ago. So does my opponent, a Roxanne would definitely be key for my opponent here, because my hand is just massive. Yep, so there is a Roxanne. That was definitely expected, but my opponent only has 3 cards left in deck. They're going to have to be careful. So my hand's not very good, but Rolling Iron for 150 now. Boss's Orders, so we can Boss's Orders up this Goodra V, hit it for 200. Now they have to find a switching card just to stay in the game and not... There's an escape rope. I'm going to go into the Radiant Greninja, I guess. I need to draw cards to sort of get myself out of this jam. And yeah, they do gust around me anyway. They're using a lot of cards though, so it'd be funny if we could deck them out with like a Roxanne or something. Always a very funny play when you could do that, but very unlikely that that's going to actually come into play at all. So then my opponent takes a knockout with Rolling Iron. I'll promote the Comfey. I'm just digging toward that Greninja play now. This is an awkward... I have to lost in that Scoop Up Net because I have to keep this water alive. Nothing really off of that conceal cards. So we can just play an escape rope here and almost force my opponent to give me a prize card. I am unfortunately out of Boss's Orders, so I can't capitalize on them bleeding that Comfey. But I do have that Mirage Gate, so we're very close to being able to close out this game with Radiant Greninja. So it's hit for 150. So top deck was not anything. So we're just going to switch. Flower selecting. We find the Colress, which is excellent. We can get very low on cards this turn. Switch, capture, and Mirage Gate maybe? I can't remember. Well, flower selecting one more time. Drapion is going to go into the Lost Zone. So we just need to find a Water Energy, which we don't have any physical Water Energies left. We have to find that Ordinary Rod. With 4 cards left in deck and a Colress in hand, we definitely can get there next turn. Boss sorts up the Goodra and taking the knockout, but we'll be able to close this game out. So I'll promote that Comfey. We just have to promote Comfey here. I will use Colress's Experiment and draw the remaining 3 cards in my deck, and there is that Ordinary Rod. We'll Ordinary Rod back in double water. Make sure I do both, because then I'm guaranteed to draw a Water Energy, and then we attach that to the Radiant Greninja, and then Ordinary Rod back in a Metal and a Water, and then we can close the game with this Moonlight Shuriken. So definitely an ugly game. I don't think I played this one terribly optimally, but we still escaped with the win just because we set up quicker than my opponent. So GG to my opponent. That was a very scuffed game, but we still got there. So into the next one, going second once again. Actually, I think we went first the first time, but this hand's better than our hand was the first game. We have a Colress Experiment at least. Oh, coughing, so it's either Quad Wheezing or Eternatus. Temple of Sinnoh, so this means it's probably Eternatus. Don't usually see Temple in those Quad Wheezing decks. They usually play Galar Mine, or I guess usually Galar Mine because they like use Hiding Energy and Yellhorn and silly combos like that. So it'll be interesting to see if this finds an Eternatus. Yeah, it does find an Eternatus. So this match is probably not very good for us. They can apply a lot of pressure, and we still have to two-shot them. So and also they can Wheezing us early. So there's a Forest Seal Stone. I wonder if they're playing the one at Boushake, because that would be pretty bad for us. We don't have a rope in our current hand. So yeah, there is the Boushake. So we need to find one of our 3 escape ropes to start using those flower selectings. So I will Colress Experiment. Nothing really. I mean, we found another Colress, but 5 cards I'd really like to keep. So I'll quick ball out this Lumineon V. Grab a Goodra, attach Capture to the Goodra, and set up another Comfey. Or you grab Radiant Greninja too. I want to grab another Comfey just so we can escape rope back into it. I'll drop that Temple of Sinnoh, maybe make things a bit more challenging for my opponent, And they just evolve and pass, so they really have nothing. So that's very greedy of them to go for that boost shake play, because they just have nothing. So definitely not the way I probably would have played it if I were my opponent. I've also seen 2 gates is sort of rough, but I don't, considering how weak their hand is, I don't feel any pressure whatsoever. So I'm just going to Rolling Shell and take this knockout. And now my opponent really has to respond, or I'm going to just get too far ahead. My hand is rather weak, and if he can pull and knock out here, I'm going to be in big trouble. But yeah, grow out for 2, and my opponent just scoops. That was definitely a pretty greedy play by my opponent. They really just had to hope that that Weezing shut me down. But I guess if you're playing Eternatus, you... yeah, never mind. So, we're against Lugia this game, and it bench Lugia and a pass. So no Archeops down. And we have a quick ball to find a Goodra. We can capture energy for another Comfey. Start to set up this flower selecting, hopefully get to that turn to Mirage Gate, or even get to a Spit this turn. Our hand is pretty weak, so unfortunately with the loss on energies, which always feels bad with this deck particularly, because we don't play as thick of an energy line as some other Lost Zone box decks do. If you even consider Goodra Lost Zone box, which I don't really think, I mean, it's kind of borderline. Like, it uses that Lost Zone engine, but it doesn't really have that plethora of attackers that we're used to with Lost Zone decks. So I'm just like, just in general for like Lost Zone decks, Goodra is definitely on the low side for energies. We do have that rope and can spit into this Lugia, set it up for a 2-shot. I don't know why my opponent dropped that second Lugia. I just feel like that's one of those common mistakes I see Lugia players make, and they just concede. Is that they drop that second Lugia going first, and it's like the probability of that second Lugia mattering is so incredibly low that like most of the time it's going to be an active hindrance because it's a bench spot. It's not going to be a very effective attacker, and in fact, I can just take 2 prizes on it later in the game. So if you're going first, rarely should you ever drop 2 Lugias, like unless you're against a deck that can really hard pressure you going second, which would only be like a Fusion Mew. Even against Regis, like you just prioritize Dunsparce over second Lugia. So yeah, that's like one of those common mistakes I see ladder Lugia players make, and it's just most of the time it's a pretty easy mistake to capitalize on. Unfortunately, we have the Lost Zone and another Colress, but I want to get to be able to spit this turn. So I'm against some sort of Arceus deck. Arceus and Psychic Energies, so it could be like an Arceus Espeon, or Temple of Sinnoh is also pretty good because it forces him to have a bump just to use Trinity Nova. So there is an Ultra Ball. Have to imagine that's going to find an Arceus V-Star. 4 into the Lost Zone was a pretty solid turn for me, and that was a Mewtwo V Union getting discarded. So we're against Arceus Mewtwo V Union. This is a deck I have not seen in a very long time. Lugia is a really horrible matchup for this deck because they can just threaten those Mewtwo V Union fairly easily. And also, Lost Zone box decks playing Mirage Gate Drapion is also very bad news. If we like a card like Weakness Policy in format, I think Mewtwo V Union would be a lot more viable card, but it's a card I've really enjoyed playing with, like messing around with it in Control, and I even enjoyed playing Arceus Mewtwo V Union a little bit, but just it's too risky to play Mewtwo V Union right now. Like the tanking that was really good during the Astral Radiance meta just really isn't as valuable right now when it's just so easily one-shot. So maybe post-rotation it can see a little bit more play, but as of right now, it's sort of banished to the binder. So my opponent is setting up a Gardevoir, getting all 4 V-Union pieces down. But since I went for the Adventure Discovery, I'm wondering if they forgot about my Temple of Sinnoh. There's a double turbo attached, but did they remember to bump? No, they forgot. At least I'm assuming that they forgot. Finding a Goodra V-Star is really good. So we might be able to take this knockout. We have 6 into the Lost Zones, with a hard retreat into the Comfey on number 7 with this flower selecting. And then we can, we got plenty of energies, can Rolling Iron and take this knockout. Now my opponent's in a very poor position. Like he can set up that Mewtwo V Union, but only go for a Union Gain at best. And then I'm just going to start putting pressure on it with that Rolling Iron. And you're sort of stuck using a Super Regeneration every turn. It'll be interesting to see what my opponent has going on, or if they even have anything. Because if they drop the Mewtwo Union, they really have to Union Gain, or they're just going to get, obviously going to Gust Up and take a knockout. There is a Marnie, so, and they benched an RCV, so we're probably going to try to Trinity Charge onto a Mewtwo V Union. There's a Trekking Shoes, taking that top card. So, they want like Switch, Stadium Bump, Double Turbo. But yeah, that's a pretty tall order, so they did not hit any of those cards. So I'm just going to Gust Up this Arceus and hit into it. We can Mirage Gate and set up a backup Goodra. And now we're definitely putting a lot of pressure on my opponent. They have to Trinity Charge this turn, or I think they're just going to be too far behind. So there's a Peonia, which they already have all their Mewtwo Union pieces, so not a very strong supporter. So they definitely need to find an energy card. If they don't find that, I think the game's just pretty much over. I mean, they should have plenty of energies, so it should not be an issue, but you never know. So this Peonia, there we go. So did they have an energy card? There's a Mewtwo Union setup, so probably. Yep, there's a double turbo energy, so there is a Trinity Charge, and I could Gust and hit into the Mewtwo V Union, or I could just take this 2-prize knockout. I'm going to attach the Big Parasol and take this knockout, because then I cannot get one-shot by that final burn, and also he cannot use Psy-Explosion to take that knockout, so, or to knock out things on my bench or set up future math. So also this play means my opponent's incredibly limited on what they can bench, because now that they can't bench any of their Pokemon, they just have to rely on this Mewtwo Union to win the game. Unfortunately, Lost Vacuum does come down, so that play now looks pretty foolish. I probably should have just Gusted and KO'd and punched into the Mewtwo Union. Another reason why I went for that play is my Choice Belt was prized. So if it just degrades into a super regeneration loop for my opponent, at least I can have that Choice Belt, so I'm hitting for more than 200 damage per turn, so eventually I will win. That's why I didn't punch into the Mewtwo Union. If my Choice Belt was not prized, I probably would have. So there is a Psy-Explosion. So that's not great, because now this Goodra can go down to a final burn. But we can start applying pressure, and then they're going to be in a like stuck using Psy-Explosion or using Super Generation every single turn. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they have anything like a Hyper Potion or something that could allow them to hang on, or they're just gonna be stuck doing this over and over again. Because eventually I will knock them out, because I'm doing 210 per turn. They haven't showed any sort of Stadium Bump yet, like that would activate that V-Guard energy. So I wonder if they even have anything. There's an Ultra Ball, which is an Arceus, so probably stealing out the deck if they fail that Ultra Ball. So do you have anything opponent, or are we just going to be stuck using Psychic Leap? Or not Psychic Leap, a Psy-Explosion. I'm getting my Mew Pokemon mixed up. There is a Peonia, so not a very strong draw supporter. So let's see if my opponent, it's not even really a draw supporter, just they mentioned Ordinary Guru. That's a huge misplay. Now I can win the game by taking, I don't even need to take this Mewtwo Union to win. That was not a very good play by my opponent, because I can just use this Escape Rope and get one of them. And even if they dropped like some other tanky Pokemon on the bench that I couldn't rope, couldn't Rolling Iron in one shot, I can just Boss and Gust the Gardevoir. So definitely not a great play by my opponent, unless they have a Scoop Up Net, and then I'm going to look pretty silly. But yeah, I don't understand why they just benched the Ordinary Guru, so I don't understand that play at all. That was so, I don't understand what the Ordinary Guru got them versus it just cost them the game. Like, I don't think they were probably in a position to win anyway, because eventually I was going to win by hitting 210 per turn, but still, that was just, they sort of threw any chance that they did have with that. So into our final game here against Alpha Elite 9, we did win the coin flip, and this hand is great. We've Capture Divine Goodra, Colress, Quick Ball, lots of things that we can work with. Another Goodra Mirror. So I'm going to Capture Energy to the active Comfey, and set up another flower selecting. I will quick ball out this Parasol because we do not have any other, not going to need it for this matchup. So we're unfortunately at the loss of the boss sorters on the first flower selecting. Another tough early flower selecting. I guess I'm going to pick the Scoop Up Net to give myself better odds of hitting that turn 2-7. So we're going to pass it on over to my opponent. A tough couple flower selectings, discarding or lost hitting 2 very valuable cards. Ooh, my opponent lost sends a Colress and a boss, and then just pass it. So no switching card for my opponent. There's a switch, Colress, and a Metal Energy. So I will use Cramorant. If we can, it would be pretty insane though if we could find a Choice Belt plus load up a Goodra and take this knockout. So I'm trying to build into that, but I'm gonna need this Comfey to cooperate. Okay, we're getting close, but I think we're just gonna have to Cramorant this turn. It's not worth overextending myself. I just will hit for 110. They did not have a very strong first turn, so don't really feel pressured at all. So my opponent does have a Colress. It's going to be pretty tough for them to build up to 7 in the loss in this turn after they didn't have, they only had 2 in their first turn. So I will go into the Comfey so that Cramorant can knock me out. But they just go into the Comfey. They can get up to 5. So they're going to need a couple switching cards to really start putting any sort of pressure on me. But nope, they just attach and pass. So unfortunately, I did find my Choice Belts off of... why? Okay, I was confused for a second. I was like, I had knockout, but no, I didn't have the necessary energies to take that knockout with my Goodra. I was all confused, like, why did I do that? But it's okay. I did not misplay there. We just gonna take the knockout with the Cramorant. I apologize. I was just like confused, like, why did I do that? Oh wait, I have no energies on my Goodra. Never mind. So they promote their Cramorant. They attach the Goodra, and they have nothing going on. So an escape rope finds knockout on this Goodra VSTAR. Yes, we probably capture. There's the escape rope, so we can take the knockout on the Goodra VSTAR, erasing all my opponent's hard work. So I'm gonna take double rope. I don't really need capture energy at this point. We can capture energy. I'm not gonna mention the other Goodra since, or maybe I am. Why did I do that? I don't understand, because that's only just gonna get trapped. Like if they have like Marnie, or not Marnie, if they have like Roxanne, they could gust it down and then buy some time that way. So I don't think that was the right play at all. I'm not playing this deck very well today. Like watching back this gameplay, like seen many times where I've sequenced something poorly or benched Pokemon unnecessarily. Maybe that's my inexperience with Goodra, because I don't play this deck very often. But definitely not playing every situation here 100% optimally. We're attaching a Water Energy. I'd love to find a boss sorters, but unfortunately I cannot. I'm going to hold the Mirage Gate to maybe go for a Moonlight Shuriken play. So my opponent definitely needs to find a Goodra VSTAR to stay in this game. There is a card selecting. I still have 23 cards in deck, so not necessarily guaranteed that they even get there this turn. There's an Ordinary Rod. That's a big help. But even if they do find the Goodra, they're down 4 prize cards. So it's going to be quite the uphill battle just to claw their way back. There's a Mirage Gate, so they're slacking Goodra VSTAR now. So they need switch. There's retreat. So they just need that Goodra. Okay, they have Raihan, so they will be able to get into that Goodra. But if they can outvolve the one on the bench, boss's orders is game. So there is a Rolling Iron. And we have Quick Ball, so that's Lumineon, so that is boss. So that is the game. So definitely I drew very well with Goodra these games, despite how poorly I played. So Goodra is just a pretty solid deck overall. Like I said in the intro, it doesn't do... it does have a pretty solid Lugia matchup. I wouldn't say that you're going to be overly favored, but you're not exactly unfavored. I think one of the appeal to decks like Arceus, Duraludon, and Goodra is you have a 50-50 to maybe slightly favored into Lugia, but also you're not just like folding into other archetypes. So you're going to have an okay time in the Lost Box, Vikavolt, Mew is not exactly your favorite matchup, but you definitely can still play the game. So Goodra, well, it's not too hard of a deck to play. Has a consistent matchup spread, so definitely recommend picking this one up if you're looking for maybe something a little different that's like not Lugia or like a single prize Lost Zone box deck. But as always, the ptcgo import will be in the description below. If there's any other videos or decks that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments. And like I said, if you would please consider subscribing. We're so close to 300. I'd like to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I don't know if that's a stretch, but I'm trying my hardest to keep uploading daily so we can hopefully get there. But you guys are awesome. Thank you for watching all the way through this video. And this has been all Blitz, and I'll catch you in the next one.